Hello and welcome to a new edition of Gerety Talks. Today we're having a special edition with another of the Grand Prix winners from Gerety 2025. This time we have invited over part of the team behind the Craft Grand Prix winner Never Just a Period. We welcome today Nadia Loscott, Joint CCO at AMB Video, and Luciana de Acevedo Lara, Senior Global Brand Comms Manager at Libres, to tell us more about this campaign. Thanks for being with us here today.
Thanks for inviting us, Lucia.
So, first of all, congratulations on this award. What does this recognition from the Gerety jury mean to you?
Yeah, wow, it means a lot, right? I think when we think about if we think about all the effort put in the campaign and all the details and the discussions, and then when we put it out there and we receive this amazing award, that means a lot. But I think it's even more special thinking about the Gerety Awards because it's judged and it's seen by the eyes of women, right? Which is ultimately our audience and who we want to connect. So if the women out there, the amazing jury, thought that we deserved this award, that means a lot to us. It means we're really doing the right thing and doing something special for the industry. So yeah, it's a special one, let's say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we always strive as a brand to be outstandingly meaningful to women. So it is, as Luciana says, extra special that we've been recognized by the Gerety Awards.
So let's now watch the campaign and then we can talk about it.
It's just a period.
As we mentioned before, this campaign was rewarded with a Grand Prix in the Craft Cut art direction, but also 5 golds and 2 silvers in other categories. Please tell us about the conception of the campaign and how you came up with the idea.
I think the wonderful thing that happened was, it's a holistic view of periods, and that's what Bodyform's journey really is in the life of a woman. And there are so many different challenges that we have at every stage of life when it comes to periods. as well as a historical injustice. And that's fundamentally how we constantly were thinking about those things when we were thinking about the campaign and the idea of it.
Luciana, you're nodding. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, no, I think, we are on a journey, right, with Libres and our brands. And I think every new brief that lands on the table of the team is a new opportunity to do something great, something big, and to unveil and kind of uncover more the taboos and what's behind it. And I think this time it was really special because we managed to bring with a lot of elegance and grace a lot of the things that all of us go through or will eventually go through. So it was interesting because we challenge ourselves all the time and we're like, okay, what's going to be the next thing? And what is out there else, for us to talk about? And I think the brilliant creative team did a fantastic job in yet finding, an angle that hasn't been talked about, that hasn't been expressed in that way. And I think that's the beauty of it. Although we're still living in and talking about, periods and how they affect women and the different experiences that we go through, it's still a different angle that is put in there and connects with women globally.
Yeah, I think that it's probably just how we start every project that we do together, which is starting to deeply listen to women, to each other, to culture. And we on this one took on our most ambitious research project yet with the global V taboo tracker that goes through all of those things and just pulls out what people are saying, what they're thinking. And I think that the beauty of the team is in the sharing, and through that being able to come to all of these different ambitious understandings of what everyone is feeling on an individual level, but also what everyone is feeling as a collective, and that you might have different behaviors, that you've been exposed to different things in your life, whether there's what prejudices there are in your life and in other people's lives, what how you feel in the confidence of your body. There are so many different root causes to the emotional through a very seemingly simple biological root cause. So it's always very interesting when we go through that process, because everything always has these rich micro insights that really come from a massive storm of lots of different women inputting in lots of different ways, emotionally, visually, and in that nuance is how we are able to somehow find our way through to distill it into a message.
And in this special campaign, or in this case in particular, what were the biggest challenges?
Wow, many, right? But I think to start, this is the biggest campaign we have ever had and produced, and this is now running in most markets than ever, right? So in more than 40 countries around the globe, from Middle East to Latin America to Croatia, so we have to always come up with something that feels deep, that connects and understands women on a very deep level, but at the same time that can expresses, the differences across different geographies that, might impact how you look, how you talk, how you perceive periods. So this alone is already a big challenge, because it means we need to come up with something meaningful, unique, creative, interesting, connecting with women, while at the same time we need to speak with various women out there, right? So that per se is already a huge challenge for us. But I think what was also special, let's say, about this project is that more from a business and a product perspective, this was the first time we also brought together what we call the portfolio approach. So we're not communicating a single product, a single technology coming up, but we were actually talking about the different portfolio, the different offer that we have across the many geographies where we're present that can support women, whatever their need might be, whatever they might appreciate when they have their periods, to cope with their periods better. So that was also quite complex, I have to say, in terms of challenges in producing and generating that many assets for the campaign that would, display the different products and the different portfolio of products that they're also different across the geographies as well.
It's a many-legged, tentacled beast that we were tackling. But I think that it's also, when we're representing the messy truth behind all of these things, that you least expect, or all of these things that come up for you in your life. I think creatively we had two challenges. It's building and continuing to build that recognizable brand that obviously appears to be consistent and have consistent components to it the whole time, but also being able to be really fresh creatively and being surprising. And I think that is always a fundamental and perpetual challenge, but it's an exciting one for us. And the team has built on that consistency the whole time in a very deeply empathetic, emotional, and intuitive storytelling. So while we're able to keep consistency, there are different emotional levers that we pull to make it fresh, to make it exciting, and to make it new, and to say something different that allows an empathy to open up in others when they watch something from us.
So now that you mentioned it, so this campaign is one of many successful and innovative ones that you have had with the brand. So what is the key in the relationship between agency and client to make this kind of long-lasting relationships and successful campaigns come to life?
Well, should I start? Yeah, I can start, Nach, and then you compliment. Well, I think it might sound really cliche, but that's true, right? I think we're made out of a team that is deeply passionate about the topic, deeply passionate about creating something that is meaningful, that drives, difference and drives impact in society, that leaves the world a better place for women to deal with their bodies, with their cycles when their periods. So passion is a key ingredient, I would say. I think no one would be able to be part of this team without that passion element, right? But in the relationship, we're all passionate, but we also wouldn't be able to achieve something great if we wouldn't be brutally honest with each other, right? I think there are always different things we need to accomplish with the campaign. There is the business perspective, right? That we as a client, we can never forget, but there is a bigger mission also behind the brand. So we need to have open and honest conversations, and we need to constantly challenge ourselves on both sides, creatively from a business perspective, to make sure that we're doing something great, bigger, better, and especially we're leaving the world a better place for women to better cope with their bodies and what they go through. So it's about passion, it's about being honest, and it's about having the space and time, to really sit down, reflect, and challenge each other.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And I think that when it comes down to creatively solving a business challenge, it's actually just such a human process. And I think that we've all been lucky enough to find our people in this. And, the people that we're happy to go through the good times and the bad times with, because they're in that process, there's just so many different ups and downs. And I think that honesty, truth, a shared ambition, that passion and belief of finding a way to make things come to life against the odds, and making something exquisite and beautiful that connects with people and makes them ultimately feel something. That's the heart of it. It comes comes back to that we've been lucky enough to find our people.
Mm. And talking about connecting with people, what is it that you wanted to achieve with this campaign, and how was the feedback from the audience? We know from the awards it was really good, but what about the audience?
Yeah, well, I think as we said, we have been on a long journey, right? In building a brand that leads the way, right? In breaking taboos, in removing shame, in removing discomfort. And this is like an ongoing journey, right? That there is no finish line, there is no end. I mean, that there is still a lot to be done, and it's a constant process and a constant effort from the team to do that. When we continue to do that with this one, but I think what was special about this one is that through research, through our oversharing, between the teams, and through research, we saw something really fundamental that keeps on perpetuating the taboos, and it's almost the root cause of many of the taboos, which is the period knowledge gap, which the fact that no one knows what to expect. We're not prepared, and almost no one is ready when their first period come. And the research and the stats and the findings show us how important it is for you to have the right products, the right level of information, for you to know what to expect. Because the emotion behind it can have a knock-on effect on the rest of your life, right? So from research, we found out that if you have a negative first experience, it's likely that you're going to have a negative experience in the future. So it's so important that we equip women and girls with the level of information that they need, right? And I think for this campaign, this was the special thing that made women connect with us even more. So we always want women to feel understood. And in this campaign, that was not different. So a lot of the comments that we saw on social media after people watching the film were expressing gratitude. Women feel heard, feel understood, feel represented. In terms of image perception, we have seen through research also internally how we have been now strongly associated, and there is an uplift in the association with us being a brand that impacts society positively, that is a brand that is brave and break taboos, and that talks open and honestly about periods. So all of that is a major achievement for the campaign, and something we always aim for. And then also, obviously, from a more business perspective, we have seen the campaign performing extremely well across the countries, from the different geographies that we're in, where we have been performing really well in key metrics, sometimes even better than our key competitors. But a lot of women saying after watching the film, they are more, considering the brand and more likely to purchase from us. So big achievements, and we have seen great results out there.
Yeah, and I think that it's emotionally, we wanted to bring to life that 300,000-year-old sigh and eye roll of knowing.
Do you have any funny or interesting anecdote to tell us about during the conception or shooting of the campaign? You're both laughing, so I guess you too.
Yeah, it was funny when we were looking through the question. There was something that came to my mind when we discussed, and I think Nadia talked about it at the beginning, that in the conceptual of the campaign, the creation and the ideation, there's a lot of sharing, right? There is a lot of research, there's a lot of listening and reading, but there's also a lot of sharing. And the beauty about working in this category is that you ended up having sometimes very unusual conversations with people around you, right? And there was a special case on set where one of our producers were there, and I think she was chatting with her teenage son. And at some point in the film, if you remember, there is a dog. All right, we're talking about discharge, and there is a girl in the ad asking, "Why does my discharge smells like da 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 da?" And one of the scenes is a dog, and then I think the teenage son was asking, what was that dog? Why do you have a dog if you're shooting for a period care brand? And the whole conversation started, right? So our head producer said, "Well, dear, we need to have a conversation when I get back home." So they had a conversation about discharge, something that would normally never happen. It was extremely funny how those things open up for us, how opportunities open up for us to talk about those things with people and with our family members and people that are normally feeling extremely awkward about talking and debating about certain things.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing the shared conversations um, that have never happened before that actually then happen. And I think that you open up all of these profound conversations and have these profound discoveries of yourself and of others. I mean, all in all of the team members and Lauren and Augustine who wrote it. I mean, I think that it is always this wonderful culture of oversharing. That is fundamentally how we land up making all of our campaigns, which is both it's enlightening, it's funny, it's all of the emotions of discovery.
How many times do you think we have to watch it to manage and see and understand all the little details and messages that are included? Because I remember every time I see it, I find something new, and I've watched it several times already.
I mean, well, we've watched it a bazillion times. I think we've watched it in our head as it was coming to life, as strategically, and then we really watched it in our heads as Lauren and Org were starting to write it, and Org started having this epiphany of it's been 300,000 years, and girls, when they get their first period, are still absolutely shocked and think they're dying. I mean, we've watched it as we were presenting it to Lucy and Tanya, as we kept working on it, and then as the director Lucy Forbes came onto it, and then we carried watching again when we shot it, then we carried watching it when we edited, and again and again. I mean, I think you never kind of stop watching it, but I think that there are all these little things and in the craft, and it's made so that you don't stop watching it, because all of the detail in the craft and how we've made it, how we've considered it, all the little Easter eggs and the coil insertion and the excruciating kind of pain that some of us have experienced, the historical paintings. There is so much detail in it, because at the same time, it's what makes it feel completely overwhelming, because that is how we feel in our lifetime with these things. And it's funny because in production, Shafi, Rebecca Schaaf, our amazing producer, we were like, don't worry, Shafi, things are going to fall out. Things are going to fall out. And in the making and in the crafting of it, not only did things not fall out, we added more things. And it's that additive effect that gives you that overwhelming feeling and then the relief that actually, what do you wish you'd been told? Because it is very overwhelming. Let's deal with it together.
The campaign has so many layers, as you said. I think the details and the craft is what makes this so special and connecting with women. And I think for us, because we show so many different life stages in the ad, every time you connect with it, you see something else and you remember about someone close to you or your own experience. So I do think that the film will continue to be very relevant in the next couple of years for all of us, because by the time you grow and you go through more experiences, you connect even more and more deeply with the things that are shown in the film. So I think there's no ending, right? We should keep watching it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, funnily enough, it came up on my feed last night of a psychologist that had shared it to her 2 million followers. And I think that I mean, it was a joy because I hadn't seen it for a while. But most importantly, I was just reading all the beautiful comments of people saying what they wish they had been told in their life.
What was your first impression in one word when you saw the final result?
It's a very difficult one to answer. To be honest, because there's no one review moment for us, right? It's not, we don't sit and wait and then we watch the film. There is a very long process of ideating, debating, aligning, realigning again, going back, going forward, approving, changing, analyzing again. So there is, there is a lot of exchange in the process. But what can I say is that I think this one has been really special for me. I think this was one of the, one of the campaigns where I felt really emotional, in various steps of the process on set, and I felt really grateful for being part of it. So there is no one word for me, but there is certainly a lot of pride with the outcome.
Yeah, I mean, I think same, and I think that after a 10-year collaboration together, there just aren't any final results because it's just it's constant development and it's constant debate and constant pushing and really just constantly how do we make it better?
Hmm. And Luciana and Nadia mentioned this before. I read about the Bodyform Global V Taboo Tracker. Can you tell us more about it?
So the Global V Taboo Tracker, it's interesting. Back in the days, it started with our ambition and intent of tracking the taboos, right? We have been tackling many of them, and despite not only rely on us to remove them from society, we wanted to see, where's the world heading to. But then I think we've never just appeared. When we run the second round of it, we went much deeper, and that whole taboo tracking system that we wanted to put in place proved to be much smaller than what we have seen as a result coming out of it. So we have gone much deeper. We have tracked the taboos yet, and many of them have evolved and progressed in terms of removing them from society and making it a better place. But the research gave us quite shocking figures about the period knowledge gap, right? The lack of preparation. As I said, a few stats showed us how important it is to start, right, with Girls Plus. And that opened the whole debate and the whole conversation for us as a brand in terms of, yes, this is extremely important to be brought to life in the campaign. So all our assumptions and hypotheses were quite right in terms of the knowledge gap, and that was important to back it up and to understand what were the biggest issues. But that also opened a lot of new ideas and new avenues for us as a brand to understand what else needs to be done, right? There is, as said, there is no finish line. There is a continuous process and a constant challenge for us as a brand on what's our role in that journey, and how can we continue that journey to keep on sharing knowledge, keep on educating people, keep on bringing people to be aware of what it is. So that is the Global V Taboo Tracker, and how it has evolved, and how important and fundamental it has been to the conception and to bring this campaign to life.
And the last question to wrap up, what are your expectations for this 2026, and what would you like this new year to offer you?
Well, we have more briefs in the making, right? So it's again another opportunity for us to sit down, reflect on what we have already done, and I'm super excited about what's to come, because again, every brief comes with new opportunities for us to do even better, for us to uncover many new things, and to leave and have a better mark in the world. So I'm really excited about the brief that we just started, and for me personally, I just want to keep on having so much joy, in working for the brand, and having the chance to work with such a talented team.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more collaboration. How do we keep making it better? I think that's never going to stop. How do we make it different and be constantly surprising and be constantly meaningful to women and our audience? That's what I want.
Thank you again for your time. Congratulations on this award. And I hope you have some great projects coming ahead, and the best of luck for the next years.
Thank
So
you.
much. Thanks for having us.